Well, as we know from our conversations with Save the Michaels, it's easy to fall into a trap when it comes to prescriptions, but that can include more than addiction. Here are our sponsors at the New York Alliance Against Insurance Fraud with tips on how to avoid opioid fraud. Welcome back to Daytime Buffalo. Frank Shook from our sponsors at New York Alliance Against Insurance Fraud. Thank you so much for joining me again, Frank.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we have been doing this whole series talking about different types of insurance fraud or fraud. And today we're going to focus on opioid and painkiller fraud. What can you tell us about that?
You know, the problem with opiate fraud from an insurance standpoint is it has a distinct social impact. All right, there's every day over 115 people die from opiate fraud. And what we're seeing now is obviously fentanyl fraud. You know, fentanyl use is really becoming rampant. In 2017, there were over 3,200 overdoses in the state of New York alone. I would imagine that rate has probably tripled since 2017. And so the problem with opiate fraud, and this is where it gets very tricky. All right, you know, as we talked in a couple of the earlier segments, all right, the vast majority of the doctors and medical professionals we deal with are good, honest caregivers. But there are some people out there who are looking to attack the system, and they're using you all as an unwitting victim, and it's causing people's lives. All right, pain centers, for instance, they just dole out these these high potency pain medications, and the main reason is to collect money, is to get money that they're not entitled to. All right. You know, if you look at it from the perspective of, you know, getting good treatment, okay, do you want to go to somebody who looks at you, excuse me, or you know, talks to you for 2 or 3 minutes about the problem that you're having, and then sits there and signs, you know, numerous scripts for you to just walk out and get this pain medication? Because what's happening is these unscrupulous providers are getting kickbacks for the amount of opiate prescriptions that they provide. And then we talk about drug diversion, and that's where literally it's a transfer of legally prescribed controlled substances for the substances for the individual for whom it's prescribed, and then on the side of the people who are getting those scripts, they're going out and selling them on the street. They pick up the drugs, and then they go out and they make some extra money by selling these pills. So these are the people that are doctor shopping. They're going to numerous medical providers, and they know the ones to go to who are going to provide those scripts. They're going to walk out, and maybe in a good day, they'll get 5 or 6 different prescriptions for, you know, things like oxycodone or OxyContin. They go to different pharmacies, they get the drugs, and then they go out and sell them on the street.
This is big, Frank, because this is impacting people, and more than just, you know, losing out on some money. This is really impacting their lives and their health. It can almost be deadly.
Absolutely. And we hear story after story of good people who've gotten hooked on opiates from a legitimate injury because they went to a bad clinic, or they went to a bad, you know, one of these, again, I like to use the word unscrupulous, but these bad doctors who are there just for the money. They're not there to provide good care.
How do our viewers protect themselves?
Right. First off, if you have a need to go to a pain doctor, if you have a general practitioner, talk to your own doctor, all right, that you trust, and ask them for a referral to the right clinic, to a clinic that really is there for the care of their patients. Don't participate in transferring a prescription drug to anybody. If you get these drugs, don't fall for the lure of easy money and go out and sell them on the street, because you're going to get caught. When you're getting your prescription filled, watch out for those pharmacies that'll fill prescriptions with less than the number of the pills that you were prescribed.
Mhm.
One of the things that I do is literally whenever I get a prescription, I count the pills to make sure that I'm not getting shorted. And if you're supposed to get a 30-day supply, make sure that that's what you get.
Okay.
It's time consuming,
Yeah,
but it certainly can avoid fraud.
definitely. These are all great ways to protect themselves, and great things for our viewers to keep in mind so that they're making sure they're safe and not being taken advantage of. Frank, thank you so much for your time as always. And viewers, you can always learn more from our sponsors at the New York Alliance Against Insurance Fraud. Thanks again, Frank.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Well, you can learn more about preventing and handling insurance fraud by visiting our sponsors at fraudny.com.